Good morning, I'm Deborah Robinson from the University of Hull, and I'd like to welcome you all to our virtual launch of this campaign. Today we're live from Castle Hill Hospital in East Yorkshire, and we're here with our partners across the Hull and East Yorkshire area. So there's City Healthcare Partnership, East Riding of Yorkshire Council, East Yorkshire CCG, Hull City Council, Hull CCG, Hull York Medical School, Hull University Teaching Hospitals, Humber Teaching NHS Foundation Trust, Humberside Fire and Rescue, Humberside Police, Yorkshire Ambulance Service and the University of Hull. A small team have worked tirelessly on this remarkable campaign, and we're delighted to be launching it here today. We envisaged that we would launch this campaign back in March, but a certain global pandemic put a stop to that, so we're here now. We have lots of things to showcase for you today to demonstrate why, if you're not from the area, why you should move to Hull and East Yorkshire and make it a place to live, work and play. We have testimonials coming up from some people that have moved to Hull and East Yorkshire and have made it their place, some who are a little bit surprised about what they found when they first arrived here. We have such a person as Alan Johnson, who's MP for Hull West and Hessel, and he has agreed to be our keynote speaker today. So we're absolutely delighted to welcome him. Alan will be joining us live here on stage at around 9:40. If you have any questions for Alan, then please let us know. You can see along the bottom of the screen we've got our links to our social media, and you can ask questions through there. And I will endeavour to be the Fiona Bruce and ask Alan the questions and get some answers for you. Shortly after Alan's presentation, we will be going live and joining Radio Humberside, and we'll join the Burnsy Show. So there will be more opportunity to interact, ask questions, and keep going with that social media. So that's enough from me for now. We're now delighted to hear from some senior leaders from across our partners, starting with John Skidmore from East Riding of Yorkshire Council.
The new exciting Shush campaign is all about promoting and selling Hull and East Yorkshire regionally, nationally and globally to everyone, so that we can encourage and attract more people to be part of our workforce in some key jobs, particularly across NHS services, community services, adult social care and the wider public sector. So that's what the Shush campaign is all about, is to let the secret out, let people know it's a fantastic place to come live, work and play, because we need our greatest asset, our workforce, and we need to fill some key vacancies to meet the needs going forward. So it's the public sector partners that work together across Hull and East Riding, so NHS services, CCGs, the acute trust, the community service providers, the mental health trust, the two local authorities, the police, the fire, Yorkshire Ambulance Service, so everybody in the public sector working together in this vital area. We've all come together, really see this great opportunity to really push and promote Hull and East Yorkshire and the great things we have to offer, so we can encourage and attract that increased workforce that we really need, on top of obviously growing our own, investing in the talent that we've got across Hull and East Riding and the wider place, working with Hull University and the colleges, etc. So this is not about taking away jobs from the local people, it's about bringing in much needed numbers of people, experienced people where we need it, to promote Hull and East Riding, so we can increase the workforce capacity that we need through this great opportunity that we're launching today. We were about to launch it due to just before the pandemic hit in March. We've put that on hold, but workforce is crucial. You know, with some fantastic people working Hull and East Yorkshire, done some amazing things to support our population through this dreadful pandemic, particularly in our acute services, GPs, hospitals, you know, adult social care, care homes, social workers, public health professionals, you know, under immense pressure, everybody coming together, really stepping up to the plate. So we feel it's right to launch it now. We still need that workforce, it's really important, and we want everybody to be part of it, whether you're a student, a person working in a care home, a carer, somebody who's working in the acute hospital, a community service provider, a public health professional, indeed everybody, because it's about workforce, and we want to fill the vacancies we've got, attract more capable, strong, confident workforce beyond the talent we've got. We've got highly talented people, but we need more of it. We need more workforce, and what we want to do is make Hull and East Yorkshire more attractive, let people know more about it, and when they find out about it, they'll come here. I think we've got a gem of an idea and a campaign that I think is going to go down really well, locally, regionally and nationally, and then we'll get the results, and I'm confident we'll see people being attracted, because you've only got to hear from our ambassadors who've relocated here to say how wonderful the people are, the culture, building on the city of culture. We've got, great housing, we've got great rural areas, we've got miles of coastline, we've got things to do, we've got great schools, we've got great education, great place to bring up your family and to live and work and play. We're looking at promoting it. Clearly social media, our plans have changed a little bit before because of the pandemic, so we were looking at billboards on the underground and into London and across places, as I say, with major populations, but clearly social media is now a pivotal angle for us, and we've got highly talented people who are going to help us do that, working together to get it across the social media platforms, because there's less people going in London and travelling about because of the pandemic. So we'll use the social media channels, marketing, telling our stories, and that's going to be a great push from this terrific launch today. So we're really excited, and I'm sure we'll see lots of people coming to Hull and East Yorkshire.
So I've worked in the NHS and National Health Service for 30 years now. I've worked all over the country. I started off as a clerical officer and became chief executive at the age of 40. And I moved to East Riding in 2009. It's the longest I've stayed in any place in my career, so I've actually done nearly 11 years here. And I just fell in love with the place. I fell in love with Beverley as a market town. I fell in love with Hull in terms of its art, its culture, its vibrancy, its life. There's just something that really draws you to this place, and it makes you want to stay here. It's just fantastic, really. Yeah, I mean, Hull has its own identity in terms of being, a really sort of vibrant city with the heritage and the culture. And you've got East Riding with, the beaches, the market towns. It really is a hidden gem. I think that people have never, if you've never been, you don't realise just how good it is and what a fantastic place it is to live, to work and really to enjoy your sort of leisure time. I mean, I moved to Beverley initially I just fell in love with it straight away in terms of its quirkiness, its localness, and you made to feel welcome really quickly. So even though I wasn't from here and I didn't have many friends and family that came with work, people are just so friendly. It's a very attractive place to be, and you all of a sudden feel part of the communities. It's like I've lived here all my life, even though I've only lived here for 11 years. I think that, there's great schools, there's great things to see, as I said before, loads of attractions in the city, be it museums, art, culture, the beaches, there's loads of places to go. You only have to drive a few miles and you can see loads of different things. It's well connected to York, to Leeds, there are good public transport networks to other parts of the country. And I just think, it's a really good quality of life. Housing is really competitive, so you can get lots of great houses for your money. And it just gives you a really good quality of life that I don't think you'd get in other places in the country. I think the City of Culture was really interesting for me to see, so many events, so many different, I suppose, cultures, art, all that sort of excitement around the city, really, people, just everybody really having that vibe and that culture, that the city belonging to them. I think that was a really positive moment for me. But I think, as I say, I just feel blessed. I can walk my dog on the Westwood, and then I can drive and go to a beach. You've got so many things here, and I just don't think people realise. When we talk about Hull and East Riding, what a fabulous place it is to live, work and play. There are so many things. It's really important because one of the biggest pressures we've got in this patch is workforce. We can't attract and retain enough doctors, nurses and other professional staff, and we need to do that to be more comparable with other parts of the country. So people will often go, into Leeds or into Manchester or London and work there. But actually, once people come here and start to work here, you'll often find that they'll stay here because of the fantastic amenities that I've already talked about. But we really do need people to come and work here. It's a fabulous place to work in any kind of role related to health and care. And I think people should just, be courageous and come and work here and stay here. Well, I'd say I've been in the NHS for 30 years and that's taken me all over the country, particularly the North West. And coming here, I never would want to move anywhere else. This is where I put my roots down and I want to stay here, hopefully, until I retire, because it's a fantastic place to be. And I never thought I'd say that. I've moved probably 15 times, maybe more, in my lifetime, and so putting roots down in somewhere is quite a big thing for me. But as I say, I just love being here. I love working here, and I love everything that the place has to offer. And I would say to anybody thinking about coming here, come here, have a look round, see for yourself what an amazing, fabulous place Hull and East Riding are, and I bet you'll never look back.
I've never come across more down-to-earth, determined, enthusiastic and just tenacious individuals who really, when they do come to work, the colleagues that I work with and the colleagues that I work externally with, the majority just want to do the right things. And hopefully through the campaign, we can raise awareness nationally. And I think sometimes that does require a collected effort to unleash the secrets that are the Hull and East Riding area, really, so that people do consider it as a place that has lots to offer for people to come live, work and enjoy.
You've got city life, you've got rural life, you've got you've got inner city living, you've got going out towards you've got coastal living, you've got living within the countryside, you've got a range of different opportunities throughout the year in terms of events that go on. I mean, a little bit more restricted now, but I'm sure that as things return to normality, that they will kick off in style as they always have. But there is also just this sort of general community spirit stuff that actually drives a lot of the local communities, from the different parts of Hull all the way through to your Beverley community, through to your Bridlington community, and so you've got coast all the way through to quaint village, through to quaint town, through to city living, through to maritime history, marina in Hull, through to many places that people go out and enjoy themselves with their families. It is a vibrant area, there's no doubt about that, but it just offers this massive range of different settings, doesn't it, that other places don't manage to offer you in choice and variety.
I'm one of these people that in the past I used to get bored very quickly, or I'd think I'd have achieved something. And I think that if if you just look at the fact that I haven't gone anywhere, and it's not because that I just can't be bothered, it's because actually this is a great place to work, because and a great place to come to work with people that are dedicated, really driven, but also very passionate about the areas in which they live and work, and their families, but also their communities. And I think that there's a uniqueness about that. There's a feel about it. There's a pride, and there's a commitment that people demonstrate and show, and that goes just across the board as well, doesn't it? I mean, it is one of them areas that I think students come to the university, and there's a massive majority stay, and they stay because they've had a life and a lifestyle, and have created lots of really good friends and acquaintances, because that's down to the people themselves, because they are friendly, they are outwardly accepting, and I think that it does have a hell of a lot to offer. There was this place at the end of that went beyond the end of the M62, that actually at the end of the day then discovered not just Hull but the wider surroundings, and the popularity of certain of the coastal towns that we have. I think people have, but it's about how, and I suppose this campaign builds on that, doesn't it, to some respects, to try and keep it in the people's mind's eye, because it does have so much to offer, and that it is a hidden gem. I always remember when we were travelling to London, I thought it was really, really clever how on the gates, as you were going into King's Cross going out of London, it said "Welcome to Yorkshire," and I thought that was very, very, very well done, very clever, and but very true. How many people maybe looked at that and then came as far as East Yorkshire? But I think when they do come, they do see a different side to what can, to their expectations. I think that that's its unique selling feature. That's the bit that I think sometimes people externally don't understand, is the amount of different cultures and environments that there are.
For me, it was a bit of a happy accident that I ended up here, but it's certainly one that I've not regretted.
We've got Beverley close by, slightly quieter, but still loads of things to do.
To be able to work here, to be able to see Yorkshire from the air, for me that's what balances things nicely.
6 miles from my house, there's a beautiful beach just on your doorstep.
We've got good access links to all over the country.
Having spent a long time commuting into Hull, it actually works really well.
Oh, the cost of living was a good shock, actually.
We couldn't quite believe what we could get for our money up here.
I compare my bills with friends that live in London, and I cry for them. I don't know how they can afford it.
There's just something for everyone. Goes to the deep, which just seems to be a crowd pleaser for any child of any age.
There's a good variety of quality primary schools. There are some good state-led secondary schools, and there's a variety of different independent schools which have got good reputations and academic attainment.
It's a nice place to raise your kids, even if they do end up with a Hull accent.
Och, Bulgar.
I've got a sore throat.
You dial 999 for the fire brigade.
We've got a really good nightlife here, and it's just a really nice place to live.
I do love the place. I basically love it.
It's brilliant, you can't argue with it.
You have so many beautiful places, but the only thing is you need to turn the TV off and go outside.
So I came to Hull just over 3 years ago to be a Vice-Chancellor of the university. And I think what really attracted me to the university was the kind of friendly, supportive feel I got the minute I stepped foot on the campus, really. And actually that was echoed in my first excursions out into the city and the region. People just seemed really friendly and supportive, and at the same time I just recognised the university as a bit of a gem. It felt like a bit of a gem, a bit of a hidden gem really, and I know people say that about the region as well, don't they? I just saw somewhere with a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity. Yeah, it seemed exciting. There was a lot going on here that I wanted to be part of. I feel quite passionate about this region. It's kind of got under my skin, I suppose. It has an enormous amount to offer. I don't think we always celebrate that widely enough or shout about it enough. But there's a lot going on here that's really positive. We do great work at the university, for example, fantastic education, great research. The region is known for its energy, energy estuary, does a lot of great work around health inequality. So there's a lot of really good work going on here in partnership with others in the city. And for me, that was a real draw, a real attraction to be part of that and to contribute to it in a positive and meaningful way. Yeah, it does. This area's got a bit of a mixed history, hasn't it? It's had its ups and its downs, like many regions. But what stands out is a really strong sense of community. And for me, being new, and I appreciate that I'm still relatively new, there's a resilience about this place. There's a grittiness and a determination about the people here. A fierce kind of sense of pride and loyalty to make things work and to do their best. And I find that really impressive. It's great to be part of that. And I see that in my university, but I also see it in all the work that we do through our external partners and collaborations in terms of making that difference, trying to have impact here. So our university's vision is for a fairer, brighter and carbon neutral future. And the reason that's the case really is that that's kind of written through the DNA of our university. We've got lots of experience in sort of climate and energy, and that links right through all the things that we do at the university. And as well, we've got a strong history around social justice, haven't we, with Wilberforce having come from this area. It's important to us because this is a region with a lot of inequality, and there are big differences, for example, in health outcomes for people in this region, depending on where they live. And the university does a lot of work in that space, a lot around health inequalities, and does a lot in terms of the education and training of health professionals to make sure that we take a diverse population into our university and we enable them to succeed. And we've got a great track record at doing that. So we have a foundation year for our medicine program, for example, the Gateway to Medicine. We have a certificate to enable people to go into health and social care training, and we work with health and social care academy schools in the region. So I think collectively we've got a lot to do in terms of addressing the inequalities that are written through our society, and that COVID will only make worse. So this is a time where we really need to focus on that inequality piece and work together for the betterment of our region really and the people in it. We have to take the opportunities that COVID does give us, because actually this is a moment when we can pause and we can either just continue going back to normal, which is, I know a lot of people want to go back to normal. I would say we shouldn't go back to normal, we should go back to a better and more resilient future. But to do that, we really need to focus on what that means and what that looks like. And we've got great leadership in this city. We've got great university, we've got great businesses, we've got great charities. A lot of really good people here who are focused on that agenda. And I think now it's really beholden on us to work together even more than we did before, given COVID and the potential for greater disparities, to really harness that energy and that passion and that grit that I spoke about before, and make sure that we do make a better future for our young people. That's our responsibility. I think the campaign is brilliant. I think we started off by saying, the university is a bit of a hidden gem, and I think this region is a bit of a hidden gem. And certainly from my own experience, I actually had not been to Hull before I was approached about this job. But the minute I stepped off the train and saw what was available in this region and what the university offered, and the city offered, and the wider region offered, so whether it's culture or a wonderful waterfront or great educational institutions, people who are really friendly and nice. There's so much going on here that is positive. And I think every time I bring somebody new to the university, they always say to me, I had no idea the campus was so brilliant and the university was so brilliant, and I had no idea this region had so much to offer. That's why I think this campaign's important. Come and feel what it's like, meet the people, see the great things that we've got going in this city. Come to the university, go to the cliffs, visit the wonderful cultural places in the city and come and experience it. Come and see for yourself.
I came to Hull and the Humber and the East Riding for the people and the staff. I'd worked here for 3 months before, came on as a secondment, and I just loved it. Loved the area, loved the people. Really surprised actually, because I think you get a bit of a view where you think, oh well, but it's changed so much. The region is fantastic, the vibrancy and the staff are just amazing. what fantastic people. So I really liked it. So I came from Manchester, and I am a Yorkshire girl. I live in Barnsley, but it's really a place that's got just something about it. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's just something that captivates you and keeps you in intrigued almost. And I think that's the people, the place, the scenery, but more importantly, the people who work here and work in all the different organisations. Because you commit to a job, you're in a job for a long time and post for a long time. So I think for me it's about really celebrating the diversity that we've got and the enthusiasm that we've got. And I think such a campaign that we're doing to really tell people about the area and what it has to offer, because it's not just about the job, it's about, you know, the walks, the scenery, the housing, the education. And I think we need to tell people. I think it tells people and hopefully will demonstrate, one, how we work really closely together, and how all the partners are working together to benefit the service users and the patients, because I'm a nurse by background, so for me it's about the patient care that we provide. But I think it's also about sharing experiences, but again it comes back to just publicising the area, the opportunities. There's such different roles and different opportunities, different things that people can work at as families and come as families, because we've got different job opportunities, development opportunities going forward. And I think because the partners are working together on the campaign, that's really good for the future, because you bring yourself and your family into organisations, but it's a bit about that long term and that loyalty. And we do have a lot of people, well, most of our people have been here a long time, and that's great. Well, we just need to make it go viral on social media. I think because that's such a great forum now, all the IT platforms we've got, different people are on different social platforms, so whether it's Instagram, Facebook, you know, TikTok or whatever, let's just tell the world and really get it out there to people. Keep the momentum going, keep the focus, and just keep telling people how fantastic and wonderful it is to be here.
I came to work in Hull about 16 years ago, and I never really expected to stay, but it is a strange sort of place. It gets under your skin, it is quite bewitching, and you fall in love with the city, you fall in love with the surrounding countryside as well, and most of all you fall in love with the people. People are really friendly, they're really warm, they're really welcoming. And I think the thing which in my job just makes this such a great place to work is the quality of the partnerships we've got. And that's with local general practitioners, it's with the local authorities, it's with the mental health trust and the community providers as well. Everybody is really focused on doing the right thing for patients, clients, service users and others. And that just makes it incredibly easy actually. So although you have to travel a long way to get here, once you get here, it is a place where you are really warmly welcomed, where you are sort of positively embraced. It's a place where values and ideals actually come out and shine in terms of looking after people. I couldn't think of a better place to work, and it's the place that I want to be when I retire.
When you are at home and doing your daily routines and suddenly you've got that pager, it's so much adrenaline. You don't know where you're going, what you're gonna see, what you're gonna do, but you are fully trained and you are fully prepared to do everything. It's a different feeling.
Started off in the emergency department and absolutely loved it.
So I've been brought in to run the digital innovation team, which is a new team for Humberside.
So this was a once-in-a-career opportunity to start a physio programme from scratch, to have a blank slate, and it has been brilliant. I've loved it.
I completed my medical training in Gdansk, Poland. I was offered a job in my practice, and I love the practice, I love the team, I love the spirit. And working with the local people here, they're very, very welcoming and nice. So I decided, you know, this will be a good place for me to practice and see how it goes.
Whatever comes up on that screen, you go and take care of.
So I cover all things public health within the council.
We have a wide, diverse range of patients.
A typical day in the emergency department is busy, and in that work I'm responsible for delivery of care to almost 400 people a day.
It's not a stuffy atmosphere. There's lots of enjoyment with working with all different people in the department, and that sort of mirrors the city in a way.
I don't want to go into management or anything like that. I quite like the idea of teaching and going into education of social workers, and that's something that East Riding are really keen on promoting.
I found that the University of Hull had an Introduction to Health and Social Care certificate. I love it here. I mean, through the certificate, I got to make a lot of friends, and it's just helped me blossom into a young person that can kind of do what they want and go where they want to go, but still have a nice structure of a good university.
It's all well and good learning from a textbook, but patients aren't textbook.
Someone's called, they want our help, so we go out and we just deal with what's in front of us.
I think what is really good about this team as well is that our manager is brilliant in the fact that she doesn't micromanage. If you need some time to work from home to get stuff written up, that's fine. If you've got visits towards the end of the day and you want to head off elsewhere after that, it's good. You can manage your own time and manage your own diary, and that really helps.
I don't think you can kind of decide to do social work. I think it's something that you know you're meant to do. When I was in school, my behaviour was not very desirable, and I received a lot of support, and I think without social workers and other social care roles, I probably wouldn't have made it through school. So it was just about giving a bit of that back really, and giving the support that I got.
Been working with the NHS since 2005, and it's my best job. I would do it if I wasn't paid.
I really appreciate working in primary care, that people let you into their lives. It is a privilege and an honour.
What you've got is an amazing area where work really closely with the CCG, work really closely with the hospitals, work really closely with a lot of the other health partners, with the police, with the fire service.
Part of my role is to look at technology and how we can use that in innovative ways to help frontline policing and members of the public.
I've been here now 16 years, and to be fair, I've absolutely loved working here. It's been fantastic.
Here I am, 8 years later.
Wow, we are not blown away by some of those messages that we've heard already today. I'm now absolutely delighted to welcome Alan Johnson to the stage as our keynote speaker. Alan has been Hull West and Hessle MP from 1997 to 2017. He's a published author. He's now one of us, fallen in love with this area. He's become an ambassador for the Shush campaign, and just like all the other people that we've heard supporting that campaign. So, Alan, would you like to come and take the stage, please?
Thank you. Well, it's a great pleasure to support the Shush campaign. I, like many people, came here to work, fell in love with the place, stayed. To paraphrase Julius Caesar, I came, I saw, and was conquered. And I think, like many others, I'm not too sure I want to let people in to this secret, but I know I must, because the problem here isn't in training people to come into the NHS, local authorities, the fire service, ambulance service, etc. It's to attract those jobs where the key issue is the experience of the individual, where you're competing with Manchester and Birmingham and Leeds, and to keep our public services good, and in this part of the world they're brilliant, this campaign is very necessary. I came to this city with a book, the collected poems of Philip Larkin. I was a big Larkin fan, and I soon realised the association between Larkin and this campaign, because in 1955 the university had a problem in recruiting a head librarian, and Coventry-born Philip Larkin came to fill the position and became a famous poet in his 30 years in this city. And I soon found that many of his poems that I'd read but not realised were about Hull. Obviously Friday Night at the Station Hotel, but Afternoons is about Pearson Park, and the broadcast is about a concert at the City Hall. And the building, and I hope Chris Long realises this, is about Hull Royal Infirmary, higher than the handsomest hotel, said Philip Larkin in the first line. So actually there's a travel guide to Hull if you read Larkin. But imagine how bereft we would be if Hull hadn't attracted Philip Larkin to fill that post at the university. And I've got a funny feeling Larkin's going to be a big part of this campaign. I'm the Vice President for My Sins of the Larkin Society. It's amazing how many people know about Hull through Larkin, but wouldn't particularly come here because you don't pass through. You have to make an effort to come to this part of the world. But Larkin will be an attraction here, as it was for City of Culture. And let me say this, I've been involved in quite a number of campaigns similar to this over the last 20 years, trying to fight against the negative image of Hull that is so misrepresentative, criminally misrepresentative over the years. It's different now because we're building on some very solid foundations. I just want to mention two of them. When Hull became City of Culture in 2017, it beat 14 other cities. And it beat them not because of the amazing cultural history of this place. Andrew Marvell, Stevie Smith, the House Martins, Hull Truck, a Lorenzetti in the Ferrens Art Gallery, by the way. Not just because of that, it's the way they put that cultural history into the relevance of Hull for the future. And this is all about the future. So when we won, we introduced so many people to this part of the world. 314,000 people in the first 2 weeks of City of Culture. Many of them were local people, of course, enjoying this experience, but so many came and experienced Hull for the first time. And that's an important foundation for this campaign. Perhaps even more important is Siemens. So Siemens were looking at 104 different locations in Northern Europe as to where to put their biggest single global investment in the manufacture of huge wind turbines to send out into the North Sea. Our competitors were Esbjerg and Bremerhaven, our main competitors. Hull won that. Siemens came. They saw that they were conquered. To the extent that, I spoke to a senior Siemens executive a few weeks ago who loves the place, told me his daughter was coming here to work after leaving university. And Siemens came to manufacture wind turbines, now they're coming back to build trains in Goole, a £200 million investment, and they're going to build an innovation hub next door to it. Success breeds success. And when I talked to this senior executive from Siemens, who loves the place, he was telling me how much the people who come here, the senior Siemens executives who have moved to this area, love Flamborough Head, how much they love Spurn Point, how much they love Blacktop Sands, how much they love Beverley. Beverley was never part of my constituency, and I struggled to explain the connection between the town of Beverley and Beverly Hills. But there is a connection, but not the same weather, I'm afraid. And he was also saying how much they appreciate the university, the Ron Deering UTC, our schools, our colleges. They're at a very high standard, much higher standard incidentally than they were with the university's always been, but our schools struggled for a bit. Now, amazing results in this area. So I think Siemens should be a kind of lodestar. And just say a word about health, because I'm still involved with health as the chair of City Care and Shared Agenda Solutions. So we were involved, for instance, in the ICC, the Integrated Care Centre, which you saw briefly in one of those films, the Jean Bishop Integrated Care Centre. A first in this country. People come from all over to see how we did it. And thanks to the generosity of Asema Lamb, and the absolute determination of Nick Stafford and his Daisy appeal, we've got some of the best facilities, some of the best equipment in the country. Hull York Medical School is expanding. And I want to say another word, just to spare the blushes of the people you saw in that film. We've got great leadership here in Chris Long, in Emma Latimer, in Michelle Moran, in all the major NHS trusts. In Yorkshire Ambulance Service, we've got great leadership. So come and work here and work for inspiring leaders. Last thing I want to say is this. Remember the name of Matthew Barzan. Barzun. Forgotten who he is? I'll tell you who he is. He was the United States ambassador to the United Kingdom. And in 2016, when his tour of duty ended, they asked him, which of the 125 cities you visited is your favourite? Without hesitation, he said, Hull. We should get Matthew Barzun as the kind of patron of this campaign. Thank you very much. Now, questions. I understand this is question time.
Yep, my turn to be Fiona Bruce, Alan. Okay, so we've got a question in. Was there a moment that you ever thought that this is typically East Yorkshire?
The accent, I think. Maureen Lipman, who is of course a daughter of Hull, makes this joke that in Hull, a pearl is someone who comes from Poland. And, you know, that is, it's not West Yorkshire, it's not Barnsley, where Michelle Moran comes from. It is very distinctly East Yorkshire. And I kind of learnt the lingo quite early on, but I can't repeat it.
You can't repeat it. Okay. So what's the nearest you've come to a John Prescott egg throwing incident?
Fortunately, I've never had an egg throwing incident, which John dealt with brilliantly. But, you know, when I came here, the big issue was compensation for trawlermen. This was the biggest fishing port in the world, biggest distant water fishing port in the world. Collapsed overnight. That led to some of the problems that Hull is now recovering from. But this was a great community, and I represented them in West Hull and went to a few lively meetings with 1,000 former fishermen who were understandably upset that they'd been thrown out of work, no compensation, no redundancy, all over a government decision to put a 200-mile fishing limit around the coast of Iceland after the Cod Wars. So we had a great, but you know, they are wonderful people, and they're part of the attraction to me of Hull and East Riding.
It's fantastic. So when was the moment you fell in love with the area?
Oh, well, it wasn't long after arriving. I'm tempted to say cynically, as soon as I got my 18,000 majority at the general election, but I don't have to worry about that anymore because I've done my time as a Member of Parliament and I'm still here. But, you know, as you come into Hull Paragon, there's this amazing 5-arched roof. I'm a bit of a sort of fan of railway stations. And you see that and you think, wow. Of course, it's end of the line as well. There's something about a train taking you to the end of the line. And coming out of there and meeting people, you know, I was the candidate in the election, and seeing the white telephone boxes, hearing about the unique history of this part of the world, it didn't take me long to fall in love with the place.
Fantastic. So why is this campaign so important?
Well, because City of Culture, Siemens coming here wasn't an end, it was a beginning. We have to build on that. We've been knocked back by COVID, and you know we were due to do this a while ago. But you know, I mentioned some of the investment that's coming into this city. We're very much focused here on the public sector. For the public sector, those kind of jobs that I mentioned, we need those people. We've got brilliant leadership. We've got the facilities. We've got a tremendous workforce, as Siemens have discovered as well. But there are some posts there that we struggle to fill when people say, oh, we know all about Leeds, we know all about Birmingham, we know all about Nottingham, we know all about Manchester. They don't know much about us. And the attraction here, as everyone has said, you know, all that, our little union of immigrants, if you like, from other parts of the world, this is an absolutely amazing place to live.
I would totally agree with you there. Best kept secret, as I found out moving to the area. So do you agree with the levelling up agenda?
I agree with, I wouldn't describe it as levelling up, but I agree with this issue that Sue was talking about from Vice Chancellor of Hull University. We have got huge inequalities here, health inequalities in this area, as Chris and Emma and Michelle know, are worse than practically anywhere else. Levelling up really means ensuring that a man born in Beverley, a man born in Hull doesn't die 7 years earlier than a man born in Beverley just because of the circumstances they're born into. That's a huge challenge.
Yeah. So Cam from Willoughby wants to know, what does the North have that the South doesn't?
Hull and the East Riding.
Simple. So can you do the Hull accent?
No.
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 And what is the single thing that you would transform, will transform this area?
I don't think there is a single thing. You know, that makes it look as if it's easy. Find that single thing, find that piece in a jigsaw, stick it in there. You know, it wasn't City of Culture, it wasn't Siemens coming here. They were crucial, they were bits of the jigsaw, but you know, it's much wider than that. And part of it is people appreciating, not just coming here during the City of Culture, but coming back. In a sense, we're not telling people about Hull, and lots of people now know about it. More ballet dancers in Hull than in London, by the way, per head of population. A Times headline during City of Culture. So they know about it, they need to be reminded about it, and they need to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And the university's been voted the most friendly university on more than one occasion.
Shot up in the charts as well.
Shot up in the charts this year. Fantastic work by everybody, students and staff. So do you think that Hull and East Riding is big enough to succeed as a political and economic entity?
It's kind of going to have to. I mean, without boring you with all the arguments about devolution, but, you know, it's like a game of musical chairs. The music stopped, and there's no chairs for Hull and East Riding. You know, we were going to go off with Leeds, and we were going to go off with Sheffield and all of that. We were very important cross Humber with the two Lincolnshire authorities. They've gone off elsewhere, and Hull and East Riding, through no fault of their own, I have to say, have been left to their own devices. So we're going to have to make it work, and we will.
Fantastic. So that's the end of your questions for now.
Thank you, Fiona.
So thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll all agree that we've absolutely nailed what is special about this area this morning. What we need now is for people to go out there and sell the area. We need you, if you're out there watching this, to continue to tell everybody what's special about Hull and East Yorkshire. And if you're not from Hull and East Yorkshire, come and visit. Come and see what we're about. Come and listen to what people have got to say. As one of my colleagues from the university said on her interview, she mentioned about the fact that when she's crossing a zebra crossing, the people wave at the cars for stopping and say thank you, thumbs up and everything else. She never got that in Bournemouth before she came here. So we'd like you to continue and listen to the live show. So we're going live with Bernsey at 10 o'clock. And it just leaves me to say a massive thank you to everybody that's been involved with the campaign this morning. And I think we've got a couple of video clips still to show. So over to the video clips. Thank you very much, everybody.
I love it here. So it's a really nice mixture between a city life and kind of a seaside town.
To be honest with you, we never get to go home because we're always doing other things.
The classic thing, people here are just super friendly.
It's only living here I realise how actually wonderful it is. There's always so much going on. The summer was packed. They have the Humber Street Sesh, they've got the Freedom Festival, they have Pride Weekend, so many independent bars are hosting their own comedy nights. There's actually always something to do.
Got a good running club here, a good canoe club here, there's a good active lifestyle that I can have here.
So I think actually I'd mentioned Hull Fair, you know, like a carnival that comes for a half-term week or something. It can't possibly be that brilliant, but I was completely in awe.
Road cycle race called the Tour de Yorkshire, when that comes together and the crowds come in and the international cyclists turn up, for me that's East Yorkshire.
So for me, my hidden gem is absolutely Hessel Foreshore.
It's a nice day, go to Sewerby, there's a zoo there. She loves to walk around and run around and just go on the playground, so anything with open spaces.
If you want to eat out, you could pick whatever you wanted.
Every time you want to go somewhere, you just can't.
I do think this area is a hidden gem.
But then you do kind of want to keep it a secret a little bit because you don't want everyone moving here.